Welcome to Doing Death Differently, a community embracing life through conscious dying. I'm Bethann, your guide in exploring end-of-life care and the art of dying well. As a death midwife, hospice nurse, and end-of-life educational consultant, I facilitate meaningful conversations to transform how we approach death and dying. This session is titled Your Final Disposition. In our time together, we will explore the various options for final disposition and embalming. In this country, we have come to see death as an emergency. We call doctors, nurses, police, emergency workers, and funeral staff to take over for us. Corpses are hurried from bedrooms or hospital rooms into designated chilled death spaces. We hire people to dig and fill the graves for us, and our loved ones go alone to the crematories. We pay to have someone turn on the furnace, lift the bodies, and close the door. In the early 20th century, increasing numbers of people began to die in hospitals instead of homes, and death became professionalized. Funeral industry groups lobbied and actually created laws about who could prepare and bury bodies. Embalming bodies, which funeral directors promoted as sanitary, medical, and necessary, became the centerpieces of funerals. Funeral directors, not families, became the new death experts. Even today, many funeral homes still promote embalming. They say it's the choice that brings you peace of mind, preserves the body, and creates the best possible appearance. Embalming fluid is actually comprised of the carcinogen chemical formaldehyde. There are now also several formaldehyde-free embalming fluids, including one made entirely of non-toxic and biodegradable essential oils. The sanitation and preservation of a body can almost always take place without the use of chemicals, as is done in just about every nation in the world. There is clearly a gap between our cultural assumptions regarding what constitutes the right funeral and the funeral industry's interests. Burials in cemeteries and cremation have been the most common practices for final disposition. A wide variety of other options are now available. I will discuss these in detail in this presentation. Now I am going to discuss the options available for you to choose from. Conventional, traditional burial. An earth or ground burial refers to ground placement of your loved one's body, generally in a casket. The body is placed in a vault liner. Monuments or markers are typically placed at the grave as a memorial. Earth burials require a cemetery plot and usually include additional fees for opening and closing the grave and perpetual graveside care. Above ground burial. A tomb is any enclosed space or chamber for burial. A mausoleum is a specific type of tomb, often larger and more elaborate. Within a mausoleum, individual burial chambers are called crypts. The process of entombment involves purchasing a crypt within a mausoleum specifically designed for this purpose. There is a large environmental impact from conventional burials. The materials used introduce toxins into the environment, and commercially produced caskets take excessive amounts of time to break down in the soil. Many people are advocating for green burials, services and products that help to minimize the environmental impact. Green burials are gaining popularity as an environmentally conscious alternative to traditional internment. Advocates for green burials emphasize their significantly reduced environmental footprint compared to conventional burial practices. Green burials return the body as naturally as possible to the earth, involving laying your loved one to rest in a way that reduces the environmental impact. No artificial processes are employed, and no embalming chemicals or vault liners are used. A return to the ways by which we have buried our dead for most of human history. This is not a new idea. It has been practiced for thousands of years and is still commonly practiced, supporting a mindset and commitment to environmental sustainability. And green burials can support a tribute of simplicity. The graves are often marked by GPS. Corner markers made of stone and flat markers at the head are also used and make mowing the area relatively easy. Other physical markers for a green burial can include native plants, trees or shrubs, or a plain engraved flat field stone. Green burial sections do not allow upright monuments. Concrete is not used, as concrete has its own environmental downsides. Some cemeteries allow art installation situated throughout the green cemetery. Cremation. Cremation is the process of reducing the body to bone fragments throughout the application of intense heat. This procedure usually takes from 2 to 3 hours and occurs in a special furnace known as a cremation chamber. The remains, or cremains, are then processed into a finer substance known as ashes and are transferred to an urn for containment. Delivery is made to the family in a cardboard box. Something that people don't often know is that the belly button never burns to ash. It remains hard and in the same shape. Cremation needs to be authorized by the next of kin, and some states have a mandatory 1 to 2 day waiting period between death and cremation. Although cremations consume far fewer resources than a conventional burial, it certainly does have an environmental impact. It's important to note that large amounts of carbon emissions are created and large amounts of energy are consumed. Cremation facilities release greenhouse gases and particulate matter into the atmosphere. The principal impacts of creation come from the burning of fossil fuels, natural gas or propane, and the release of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Long thought of as a better choice for the environment, new data reveals otherwise. One of the most common myths about cremation is that scattering the ashes is a public health hazard. Once a human body has been cremated, it turns into inert fragments of bone, mostly calcium, and is not considered a health risk by authorities. You can arrange a cremation yourself at a minimal cost. Once the person has been cremated and the cremated remains returned to the family, a memorial service can be arranged. The family can conduct this when it is convenient. Arranging to see the deceased before cremation helps processing the loss and beginning the healing process. It's interesting to me, green burial cemeteries do not allow cremains to be scattered because they are non-biodegradable. Underground cremated remains create what is essentially a nutrient-deficient salt lick that is not beneficial for the environment. Burials at sea. You can be buried, the whole body or cremains, anywhere in the U.S. in water that is 3 miles from the shore, as long as the depth of the water is greater than 600 feet. A burial at sea refers to disposal of a corpse into the ocean, wrapped and tied with weights to make sure it sinks, and this was common practice in native and seafaring cultures. It also refers to the scattering of ashes in the ocean. In Hawaii, local canoe clubs take families out to sea for scattering of ashes. Alkaline hydrolysis. Alkaline hydrolysis, also referred to as biocremation or aquamation, is a water-based chemical process for decomposition. It is a flameless cremation. The process involves using pressure, heat, and lye to break down the body into its chemical components, resulting in a liquid as well as an ash. The liquid can be placed in the ground in a garden or on the land, and the ash can be returned to loved ones and placed in an urn. This process takes between 2 and 3 hours and uses much less energy than regular cremation. Water cremation is legal in over 20 states, and the number is growing. Whole body donation. This assists in medical research as the bodies are used to study diseases and develop new treatments. Bodies that are donated to science have led to research breakthroughs, and anatomical gifts, such as donating organs or tissues for transplant, may be a significant way to help others. Cremation. Cremation is an ecological form of burial in which the corpse is freeze-dried and transformed into compost in about 6 to 12 months. The organic burial process avoids embalming fluids and greatly reduces the environmental impact on the air, water, and soil. The first part involves removing the water that makes up most of the body. To do this, the corpse is freeze-dried into liquid nitrogen, and then sound waves are vibrated into the corpse, transforming it into an organic white powder. This powder is then sent through a vacuum chamber, evaporating more water, and the organic powder is hygienic and odorless, and the remains can be cremated or buried. After 6 to 12 months, both the coffin and its contents become a loam, like a high-nutrient soil. This method can instill a greater insight and respect for the environment. Body composting. Body composting is the science behind turning your body into fertile soil. Similar to people who recycle their food waste into soil, you can do the same with your remains. The process of composting human corpses, also called natural organic reduction or terramation, turns organic matter into soil conditioner that is unrecognizable as human remains. It's performed by placing the body in a mix of wood chips and allowing microbes to decompose the body. It takes about a month. The final product is dark because of the humic acids, but it smells pleasant and looks just like compost. This is legal in 10 states at this time. There are now biodegradable urns designed for the dispersal of ashes in an earth-friendly way. They will break down gently in the earth or in water. There are cremation diamonds now. They are certified high-quality jewelry diamonds that are a true memorial to a unique life. Cremation diamonds provide a way to embrace your loved one's memory every day and quickly can become a family heirloom. The cremation diamond is a unique and timeless jewelry tribute. Touchstones with infused cremation ash. Various options of handmade art and memorial jewelry are available now. Creations for celebrating and memorializing the life of your loved one, and each one contains a small amount of cremains from your loved one within. An eternal wreath is a designed wreath made of environmentally safe cast concrete, which is placed on the ocean floor as a memorial of a life well lived. Those who opt for internment in an artificial wreath are first cremated, then their ashes are mixed with concrete and molded into a wreath ball, a hollow structure that's about 6 feet wide and 5 feet tall, and then it is placed on the sea floor, creating marine habitat and preventing erosion. Ashes in space. Since 1994, the option to launch the ashes of loved ones into near space and beyond is available. In summary, making your choice for final disposition is a personal one. There is no right or wrong answer, and the best choice for you will depend on your own beliefs and values. There's a fulfillment in seeing that the options of what you do with your body after death are broadening. My approach is rooted in compassion, expertise, and a commitment to empower you. To learn more about how we can embark on this important journey together, please visit my website, BethannDuval.com. Your final chapter is important. Thank you.